This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimire with the news. The headlines first. Citizenship bill to be tabled again in House of Representatives today. Ruling coalition all set to pass the bill. Prime Minister Shabada Deva urges stakeholders to deliver prompt services to ensure easy access to justice. And explosion kills 3 and injures dozens in a mosque in Afghan capital Kabul. Now the news in detail. The citizenship bill that was returned by the President back to the House of Representatives is being tabled again today at the House of Representatives. As the ruling coalition has decided to pass the bill without changes, the bill is all set to be approved by the lower house. Prime Minister Shabada Deva has urged all the stakeholders to deliver prompt services to ensure people's easy access to justice. Addressing a program organized by the Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs on the occasion of 5th National Court Day yesterday, Prime Minister Deva urged all the concerned agencies to work responsibly to materialize the concept of rule of law into practice. The Prime Minister stressed the need for having positive attitude and professional dignity among justices and advocates for the effective implementation of the National Code. On the occasion, Acting Chief Justice Deepak Kumar Karki said the National Code was formulated based on the national and international practices and it would be implemented addressing some hurdles. The ruling coalition's task force has agreed to present an agreeable modality for seat sharing for the upcoming elections in the next meeting after having further discussion with the leadership. After the meeting held at Balwatar yesterday, task force member and communication minister Gyanendra Bahadur Karki said the task force agreed to move ahead after discussing the matters with the top leadership in the respective parties. The task force is meeting today as well. At least 5 people have been killed while 9 others have been injured in a jeep accident at Ullani in Sailesikhar Municipality, Ward number 6 of Darchula District. The Darchula District Police Office informed that the jeep was heading to the district headquarters Khalanga from Gokaleshwar. The identity of all the deceased has been ascertained. Information officer at Darchula District Police Office, Inspector Jagat Kahamagar, said the injured had been taken to the Gokaleshwar Hospital for treatment. Lawmakers have stressed the need for conducting the impeachment motion filed against suspended Chief Justice Jolendra Samser Janga Bahadur Rana without any further delay. Speaking at a meeting of the Impeachment Proposal Recommendation Committee held yesterday, the President of the Law, Justice and Human Rights Committee of the House of Representatives, Krishna Bhakta Pokhrel, said the case must be concluded at the earliest as the term of the Parliament was going to end soon. Committee Member Secretary Lakshmi Prasad Gautam said the committee would elect its president by the next meeting and the Secretariat would present a schedule for proceeding with the motion in the same meeting. Minister for Communication and Information Technology Gyanendra Bahadur Karki has said the 5-party coalition will continue for stability and development of the country. Speaking at a program organized by the Krishna Prasad Bhattarai Foundation in Kathmandu yesterday, Minister Karki stated that the current coalition would continue even in the upcoming provincial and federal elections to make Nepal a prosperous country. The Election Commission has issued a 4-point directive to the government for the effective security management of the election to the House of Representatives and Provincial Assembly scheduled for the 20th of November. The Election Commission has asked the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers and Home Ministry to prepare a security plan and to provide it to the Election Commission. Similarly, it has directed the government to prepare a detailed security plan for ensuring smooth voting at all polling centres as well as to make effective arrangement for the deployment of security personnel. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Time for a short break now.
भाउजू दर्शन
भाग्यमानी बाबु राम्ररी आइपुग्नु भयो नि
हजुर राम्ररी पुगे उ चाहिँ मेरो कलेजको बेस्ट फ्रेन्ड
नमस्ते भाउजू
नमस्ते आउनु न भित्रै
हुन्छ भाउजू
अनि दादा त अफिस गइसक्नु भयो होला है
उहाँ त बिहानै हो हुन्छ तपाईहरु फ्रेस हुँदै गर्नु न म खाना तयार गर्दै गर्छु है
हस् भाउजू
ओइ वाइफाई होला नि पासवर्ड माग्न
हे त पनि एनटीसी को सस्तो डे प्याक छदैछ नि
ए हो र
एनटीसी को डे प्याक लिन *1415# डायल गर्न
Nepal Telecom राष्ट्रको संचार
You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to more news now. The CPN Unified Socialist has decided to forward unification process with the CPN Maoist Center. The party secretariat meeting held yesterday took a policy decision towards that end, according to the party's General Secretary, Dr. Beduram Busal. Accordingly, the meeting decided to form a committee to coordinate the unity process. The CPN Maoist Center has already decided on its part to unite with the CPN Unified Socialist. The Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Pampa Busal, has pointed out challenges in stopping electricity leakage. Addressing an event organized in Kathmandu on the occasion of the 37th anniversary of the Nepal Electricity Authority yesterday, Minister Busal said there was a need to implement international standards related to electricity and carry out reforms in the power distribution structure to curb power leakage. Stating the country got around 2 billion rupees income from the control of the power leakage alone. In the previous fiscal year, Minister Busal said there was a need to increase electricity consumption for the overall development of the country. On the occasion, Nepal Electricity Authority's Chief Executive Officer Gulman Khising shared that so far 95% population of the country had access to electricity. British Ambassador to Nepal, Nicola Pollitt, met with the Foreign Affairs Advisor to the Prime Minister, Arun Subedi, at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers yesterday. According to the Prime Minister's office, the meeting focused on various issues of bilateral interest between Nepal and the United Kingdom. On the occasion, Subedi praised the United Kingdom for its continuous help for the democratization and development of Nepal based on age-old ties. In response, Ambassador Pollitt assured of continuing United Kingdom's assistance for the development endeavours of Nepal, including in the fields of democracy and human rights. The talks also revolved on removing Nepali Airlines and aviation sector from European Union's blacklist, citing air safety concern of the country. Meanwhile, a memorandum of understanding on the supply of health human resources is being signed between Nepal and Britain on coming Monday. The MOU will be signed in Britain. According to the Minister of Labour, the Secretary at the Ministry of Labour, Employment and Social Security, Eknaren Ariel, and British Ambassador to Nepal, Nicola Pollitt, will sign the MOU on behalf of their respective governments. A meeting of the Council of Ministers on the 14th of June had approved the MOU to send health personnel from Nepal to work in the United Kingdom. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to an international update now. A huge explosion has ripped through a mosque in the Afghan capital, Kabul. The blast is thought to have occurred during evening prayers, killing at least 3 people and injuring dozens more, according to the NGO Emergency. It is unclear who was behind the attack, which comes the week after a prominent pro-Taliban cleric was killed in a suicide bomb blast also in Kabul. The Islamic State group claimed responsibility for the earlier attack. Nepal reported 852 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. The Ministry of Health and Population detected the cases while testing 6,383 samples. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today, according to the Meteorological Forecasting Division, the weather will be partly to generally cloudy in the hilly regions of the country and partly cloudy in the rest of the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is possible at some places in the hilly region of Gandaki province and in a few places of the hilly regions of the rest of the country. There are also chances of heavy rainfall at 1 or 2 places in the hilly region of Gandaki province. With this, we have almost come to the end of this news bulletin, but before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Citizenship Bill to be tabled again in the House of Representatives today. Ruling coalition all set to pass the bill. Prime Minister Sherpadu Deva urges stakeholders to deliver prompt services to ensure easy access to justice. An explosion kills 3 and injures dozens in a mosque in Afghan capital Kabul. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.